Okay, so thank you everybody for coming to Online Community Breathwork. Today is Friday, June 27th, 3 o'clock. And to begin this session, as always, I'm going to pick a card for us from the Classical Mythology Deck. So just continue taking deep breaths, grounding into your space. And so today we have Euryphaessa. And so Euryphaessa is the Titan goddess of Radiance. She's also known as Mother Sky, also known as Thea, Great Goddess. So it says Great Spirit expressed as Sky Mother, the abstract feminine. Right, so on this card, you can see Euryphaessa, she draws radiance from a celestial source. Her clothes shimmer with the glint of gold. And so her keywords are emanting light, radiance, brilliance, sight. And so she correlates to Aquarius in astrology. And as we all know, we're kind of entering the age of Aquarius as a collective now. And so Aquarius is about being open-minded and independent, being unconventional and inventive, finding new ways to do things, being into new technologies. But again, that imbalanced energy of Aquarius or Euryphaessa resists commitment, is defiant and deviant, unreliable and self-righteous. So throughout this session, again, maybe using this time to see, look at that Aquarius energy within you. Is it balanced or is it imbalanced, right? One's not better than the other. It's just energy. But when we become aware of how we're expressing this archetypal energy, that's where we can make shifts. So again, there's some more divination for her, but I'm going to just read them as we get into the session. But here's an affirmation for you guys from the card. It's something that you can repeat as a mantra throughout the session. And for Euryphaessa, her affirmation is, I am radiant and allow my true worth to shine. So again, I am radiant and allow my true worth to shine. So now let's begin our conscious connected breaths in and out. Breathing medium breaths in and out. And as always, remember, in the first 20 minutes of a conscious breathwork session, your mind might wander, it might fight. But again, just observe it, just become aware of your thoughts. We don't have to really engage with them. Keep the focus on your breath. And, again, if the mind wanders, that's okay. Just come back to your breathing in and out. I am radiant and allow my true worth to shine. So another helpful visualization for this breath work, because visualizations can give our mind something to focus on. You can imagine that you're breathing in a golden light of Euryphaessa, of Aquarius. It's a golden light of unconditional love. It is radiant and it is powerful. So just as you breathe, imagine that you're breathing in this golden light. It's a golden light of purification. And on your exhale, just spread that light throughout your body, just circulating it. So Euryphaessa is also great spirit, expressed as the sky mother, so the abstract feminine. And so in this session, as we breathe, we're connecting with not only great spirit, but that abstract feminine side of ourselves. So right, even if we identify as masculine, as male, we still carry that feminine within us, right? This isn't a physical thing, it's a spiritual thing. So we all have that abstract feminine and abstract masculine within us. And so with Euryphaessa, right, that is our brilliance. It is our sight. It's that sight, that part of the divine feminine that just sees through the lies, sees the truth. So we're connecting with that energy today as we continue, much like Euryphaessa, to draw radiance from a celestial source. However, we are drawing this radiance through the breath, through oxygen, through the air, which we breathe all day, every day, most of the time unconsciously, but we're spending this next 45 minutes breathing with consciousness, breathing into awareness, in and out. And again, I'm just breathing to provide a guide. If you're breathing at your own pace, at your own rhythm, keep going with that. I'm just here to support, and there's no wrong way to do conscious breath work, right? Just showing up, breathing, finding your own rhythm, finding your own pace will help you connect. It'll help you relax, find ease, and just increase your awareness of your inner world, your emotional world, your mental world, but also the spiritual, right? The connection that we have to something greater than ourselves. So continuing to breathe in and out. Breathing in that golden light. And maybe you've been breathing in that golden light for a few minutes now, and you're starting to feel like you yourself are emitting light. And so I think just keep breathing. And now with that out breath, you can also imagine that you're breathing out like a black smoke, right? So we're simultaneously breathing in a higher frequency, breathing in unconditional love, breathing in radiance, while also exhaling, breathing out anything that's dulling us, anything that's holding us back. Could be negative beliefs, just any negative emotions. You don't have to analyze them or think about them. if you've been feeling bad over the past week or past few days, just when you breathe out, just exhale whatever that thing is. We don't have to hold on to it any longer. We don't have to go into stories or try to attach to it in any way. We can just breathe it out. And if you have been having an exceptionally hard week, you can put an extra emphasis on that exhale, right? You can sigh, you can make a noise. Again, this is a safe space. You all are muted on this call, so feel free to express yourself, however feels authentic, however feels good to you. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do breath work. We all express ourselves in a unique and beautiful way, right? Euryphaessa is a reminder of that. We all have our own unique radiance. However, when we go through life, whether it's through trauma or just from living, really, people can be quite mean to us in life, and we end up being mean to ourselves. And so when that happens, we might want to hide. We might not want to show our radiance, or our radiance just might be covered in some mud or just whatever it might be, heavy emotions, lower frequencies. And so again, if you've have had a hard week, I encourage you to put a little extra emphasis on that exhale. So that would sound more like this. Or even adding a sigh to it. So that would be like this. I think when we vocalize as well, when we do breath work, it really does relax our nervous system. It gets us more embodied. So again, these are just suggestions. If it doesn't feel right, you don't have to do it, but just offering it for anybody who really is looking to get something out of the session, to release what's been holding them back, what hasn't been serving them. So we're continuing this conscious connected breathing, this rebirthing process, and we're simultaneously breathing in the light, calling in the light, while breathing out the darkness, breathing out what no longer serves us. So in and out. Maybe with every breath, you're feeling a little bit lighter. You're feeling a little bit more radiant. Maybe you can feel more like yourself, your authentic self, not who your parents told you who to be, or who your job tells you are, or society. This is about a deeper remembering, about really who you were when you were really young, even before you came into this life. I think we all come into this life with a radiant soul that just wants to express itself and maybe make art or do drama or paint, whatever it might be, or music. We all express ourselves in our own ways. And I think the more that we can get this energy out of the stuck energy or stuck emotions, the more that we are able to create and to be not only radiant for ourselves, but for our family, our friends, and our communities, right? When we heal ourselves, I genuinely do believe we are healing the world, because the more people who can show up whole and just full of joy, that radiates outwards. It creates a ripple effect on everyone we meet. And so just, we're only 11 minutes into the session, but again, just thanking you all for coming and for breathing and doing this work, because it's hard. It's hard work. It's hard to face ourselves. It's hard to sit with ourselves, even if just for 45 minutes. And yet we know that when we do, and we engage in conscious connected breathing, that we can find liberation from suffering, from depression, anxiety, trauma. None of it has to hold us back. And in fact, our experiences shape us, though. They shape us into who we are. Like, I know in my life, if I hadn't had the childhood that I had, or a lot of the experiences I've had in my life that have been very difficult, I don't think that I would have chosen to heal and to become a healer. And I think that's also a healthy perspective to look at your life, that you are not a victim, that everything that happened was just a test and a lesson, something for you to overcome so you can become stronger and more whole. So just offering that as a way to look back on your past with radiance, right? With sight, with foresight, going, oh, that's why that happened. And connecting the dots a little bit. I think even if we've had hard things happen to us, we don't have to let it define us. We don't have to let trauma define us, or anxiety or depression. These are just conditions. And when we breathe or do yoga, or even just stretch, or even just take a moment out of our day to journal and appreciate ourselves, appreciate what we have, right? We start to see that radiance. It can become an opening. And if we can find that opening for a little bit of radiance anywhere in our life, that it tends to leak to other areas of our life and becomes what my teacher calls a virtuous cycle. So showing up to breathwork can be a virtuous cycle. Committing to a breathwork practice, we can retrain our minds, we can retrain our habits from negative ones into positive ones. So if any time in your life you feel yourself starting to get stressed, remember, you can always come back to this space that you're in right now. You can take some deep breaths. Close your eyes. And just breathe and relax. Just because other people might have dimmed our light, it doesn't mean we can't get it back. And in fact, nobody can take our light from us. Nobody. And our light comes from within. Right? So the more that we go into our practices, the more we learn to love ourselves unconditionally, the same way a mother loves her daughter or son, just wants to see them grow and be happy and healthy. We can look at ourselves with that same loving energy, and in doing so, we cultivate peace, we cultivate joy and love, and so our light grows brighter. We become more radiant. And I think so often, especially in the Western world, we want quick fixes to our problems, where we want pills and we want it all solved right now. But that's not how it works. Things take time. But I do believe the more we start to shift our inner world, we will start to see shifts happen in our external world. And I think the mistake comes from trying to change our external world without first looking inward, honestly, but again with compassion as well. Just in the same vein that we must forgive ourselves for anything that we might be ashamed of or have guilt about, we must also forgive others too. Because when we hold on to grudges, when we hold on to anger or resentment, it doesn't serve us. And in fact, it gets in the way of our capacity to feel joy and to be radiant. So again, as I speak these words, hoping everyone's continuing with their medium breaths in and out. Coming back to your radiance, coming back to your joy. I'm radiant and allow my true worth to shine. And again, as you're breathing, maybe you've dozed off a little bit, or maybe you haven't been consistent, but again, just coming back to yourself, checking in and coming back to your rhythm, your divine rhythm, maybe following your heartbeat, just whatever feels good. But I'd also urge you to go a little bit outside your comfort zone. Not so much that you're just in excruciating pain or that it feels just so bad, but just a little bit outside of that comfort zone, like an inch, a hair, just enough to push yourself, to keep that fire, building that fire inside of you. Much like Euryphaessa, as we breathe in this way, we start to see ourselves in a new light, a higher truth perhaps, maybe getting an objective view of our lives. But again, it's Euryphaessa is that sky mother, right? So it's a gentle energy, it's a warm energy. So we're looking at ourselves with truth, but also with compassion, also with grace. And so some more divination for Euryphaessa. Obviously, every time I do one of these sessions, it's a divination pull. I'm pulling a card randomly from the deck. So some more meanings for the divination for Euryphaessa or Aquarius. First is exuding radiant charisma, discovering and appreciating your own value. This self-worth attracts new people and a different quality of experience. So I think often we end up kind of apologizing just for like being ourselves, or maybe being big. Perhaps someone in our lives told us, oh, you can't do that, or oh, you're too much, right? I know I've been told that a lot in my life. I'm a Gemini. So, hey, tone it down, buddy. We've been told that. And over time, though, when people tell us that, we start to think that it's bad to express ourselves. We start to kind of dim our own light for others. It ends up kind of being this people-pleasing quality, or we end up constantly apologizing, even though we've done nothing wrong. So again, just using this time, maybe looking at your life, maybe, have I done that? Where in my life have I been holding back my authenticity, or holding back my radiance? But again, looking with truth, looking truthfully, but with compassion. Again, it's not your fault. It's never really our fault. People just are mean to us or tell us things, and if they're in a position of authority, or especially if it's our parents, we take that to heart, and it shapes how we grow up, and it shapes how we behave as adults. So just using this breathwork session to rediscover your value, your radiance, and to really appreciate yourself for who you are. Because the more you do that, the more you will exude that radiant charisma. It's what they call a magnetic personality, right? Where it doesn't even matter where you are. You could be out in public, at a show, even at your job, and just people will pick up on that, and they'll treat you differently. Right? So continuing to breathe, continuing to go within, Keeping your breaths conscious, connected, just staying aware to what's coming up for you. It could be old memories, it could be just feelings in your body, but whatever it is, trusting that it's coming up for your highest good, for your highest healing. So another divination meaning for Euryphaessa: you see with new clarity. You have a piercing and objective insight into human behavior, daily matters, and business affairs. Expand your vision in order to see the bigger picture whenever possible. Or as my history professors in college would tell us, when in doubt, zoom out. Right? Because often we can get stuck kind of in the minutia. And this, obviously this is what the 24-hour news cycle is, right? There's always something crazy happening in the world. It's always breaking news, and we can get kind of stuck in that. But remembering what's the bigger picture here, what's really going on, not just in the news, obviously, in your own life as well, right? What are your bigger goals, your bigger aspirations? How do your actions, your beliefs, and your thoughts factor into that bigger picture you have for your life, right? Who is that version of yourself that Euryphaessa would love to see, right? The most radiant version of you, just living completely untethered, without any restrictions, without any blocks. So just, again, these are just seeds. Throwing them out wherever you're at in your session, just some things to chew on as you continue to breathe and go inward, breathing in that golden light, the purifying energy, 5-dimensional energy, heaven on earth energy, just love, just that unconditional love that it's always there for you. All you have to do is breathe, relax, be open to it. And so as you breathe with every inhale, so surrendering more. How can I surrender more to this experience? Often I think we try to control everything in our lives, and if things don't go the way we want them to, that part of us that is controlling kind of starts to freak out. and that never feels very good. So life really is this constant tug-of-war of will, right? We try to will things into existence, but also surrender. There's a lot in life that happens to us that we can't control. And so when we can't control what happens to us, it becomes how we respond to things, right? When bad things happen to us, do we crumble? Do we blame others? Or do we take it as, or do we see the truth of why this is happening? And do we act with courage? And so just some things to think about as you breathe. You perceive truth with clarity and are able to move forward with ease. I think often in life, especially when the chips are down, when things feel hard, when bad things happen to us, it's easy to get stuck. It's easy to get stagnant, and we just kind of loop over and over. Oh, oh, the world is bad things always happen to me, I deserve this, right? But these are all just negative beliefs. And the more that we focus on what's wrong, the more we're actually going to create negativity, right? Because our minds will focus on anything, really, for good or bad, right? Whatever we focus on is what we tend to create in our lives. So do we focus on the bad or do we focus on the good? And this doesn't mean that we bypass the bad. Obviously, if something bad happens to you, feel it. I think we're also a culture that really, we don't get taught how to feel. And so we end up holding on to a lot of resentment or sadness, and we don't let ourselves feel it. So again, just using this time to remind you, wherever you're at in your session, if you are having some hard old memories come up, or anger or sadness, it's okay. It's okay. These emotions are coming up to be felt, they're coming up to be looked at, really for the last time, so that you may integrate it, so that you can release this burden that's been weighing on you and move forward in your life with ease, with that truth, right? Because when we see clearly, we know what to do. And I think when bad things happen to us, it's very easy to get lost in confusion. And I think confusion, if you reframe confusion in a positive light, a more radiant light, all it is curiosity, right? So again, that's just another thing to kind of look at, is how can I look at my life with more curiosity, to be curious about our emotions and not to judge them, to blame ourselves for feeling a certain way. Because I think that's another thing that's just kind of conditioning. I think when we're all kids, our parents tell us, "Oh, you can't be like that. You can't be sad. You can't be angry. You have to be a good little boy or a good little girl." And we end up not feeling from a young age. And so again, just if anything does come up during the session, just feel it. Have compassion for yourself. Have love for yourself. Hold space for yourself. Euryphaessa also tells us you see the world with the filter of beauty and magic, which inspires joy. And again, this is, I think, when we're kids, or really all kids, I mean, maybe, I don't know if any of you guys work with kids, or maybe you have nephews, nieces, daughters, sons, but young children are always just kind of playing, aren't they? I know when I was a kid, I would just make up these games and play them, right? We had this imagination, and I think using our imagination is kind of the building block for magic, for creativity, and for beauty. And so the more that we can kind of return to that childlike wonder, right? Like a kid just jumping into a puddle and just splashing around, right? The more that we can adopt that mindset, I think it just, number one, that just makes us feel more joyful. And then others in our life will feel that joy, and they'll want to be a part of our lives, whether that's, again, friendships, romantic relationships, even work relationships. Just when somebody brings us joy, we want to hang out with them. We want to spend time with them, and because we also want to experience that joy for ourselves. So again, using this time, again, maybe as you breathe during this, you are experiencing joy and ecstasy, in which case I would say keep breathing. I really do think pleasure and joy are our birthright. Everybody on this planet, regardless of how they look, where they live, what they believe, deserves to feel joy, deserves to feel that beauty and magic that's just so inherent to being human. So again, if it feels right, breathing in that joy. And again, maybe if that golden light visualization is helping you, keep going. If it's not, don't worry. You You can drop it. You can just breathe. You can have your experience. And the final note for the divination for Euryphaessa. On the card, it says, precious metals, gemstones, and crystals ground and energize you. So, and if you do have some crystals, perhaps maybe after the session, just, spending some time with them, or maybe putting them on your desk where you do work, or maybe in the kitchen as you cook, but just having them around for grounding and energizing you, just like breath work energizes you. So continuing to breathe in and out. I know that you all are doing well, so keep going, keep digging, going deeper, surrendering more, right? Because the more that we allow ourselves to surrender, the more we allow ourselves to receive. And I think that's another thing that's kind of hard in Western culture. We're so used to just working, hustling. Everything must be worked for, that we're not used to actually just receiving. And it can feel kind of unnatural to just sit back and receive, whether again it's in a breathwork session like this, or just in your life. Maybe people who love you or friends buy you gifts, or give you a compliment. I know that's something I used to struggle with when I was a performer in Chicago. If I had a good show and someone would compliment me, and it would be so hard for me to just go, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. That means so much. And often, when we're complimented, we go, oh, it's nothing. We kind of downplay it. But I think subconsciously we do that because we don't really believe that we have value. We don't believe we are radiant. But we are. So again, if people in your life do compliment you or give you gifts, just thank them. Thank you so much, because that gift is coming to you because you have been radiant, because you have had a meaningful impact on that person in your life, and they're giving that love right back to you. And so that's what we're doing here in this breath work. We're taking time out of our day to give love to ourselves, to give gratitude for our bodies, for who we are, for this life, right? Because I think this life, with all of its goodness, all of the badness too. Without the bad, we wouldn't know what good is, and vice versa. We live in a world of duality, light and shadow, good, evil, and it's just a constant tug of war. So, right, if it was all good, we'd probably be super bored. And if it was all bad, that's no fun either. So, again, just like with this energy of Euryphaessa, of Aquarius, right, that there's the balance, the higher expression. It's someone who's open-minded and independent, unconventional and inventive, into new technologies. But that Aquarius energy also has that lower expression, right? The imbalanced expression. The part of you that resists commitment, might be defiant, deviant, unreliable, and also self-righteous. So again, using this breath work, if you feel those imbalances within you, if any of those relate and you're like, man, that's me, that's okay. Just keep breathing, because we're focusing on this energy right now to balance it. We're bringing in, we're cultivating our joy, we're cultivating our unconditional love for ourselves, so that we can balance this aspect of ourselves and live a more authentic, honest, and liberated life. Continuing to breathe in and out, medium breaths. And again, we don't have to indulge these lower energies, right? It's enough just to be aware of them. We don't have to guilt ourselves or blame ourselves for having a lower expression of Euryphaessa or Aquarius. We can just become aware, but let's not get stuck in the muck and the mud. Right? This card's about radiance, right? Let's take that energy and let's transmute it. And we're transmuting it through our breath, through our intention, through our loving compassion for ourselves and the ones we love. I am the source of light that births new cycles. I radiate clarity, balance, and divine wisdom. I remember that I am made of light. I am vast, eternal, and sovereign. I am a channel for harmony, grace, and divine cosmic order. I am radiant and allow my true worth to shine. It's enough to just be who you are. You spend so much time doing and strategizing. Oh, what should I do? Maybe it's enough just to be. And you just being who you are unapologetically, shining your light is enough. And now, 5 minutes left in this session. Let's move to some deeper breaths to integrate, really seal in the work that we've done here together today. So now, long, deep breaths, again, as deep as you can make them, but keeping them conscious and connected, like this. Continuing to take long, deep breaths. Really just coming back to gratitude for yourself, for this life, for this body that you inhabit, this consciousness that experiences life all the time, every present moment. But also finding gratitude for the difficulty, for the challenges that you faced in your life. Even finding gratitude for those people in our lives that have been challenging, the relationships that have felt challenging or hard, maybe that haven't worked out. Because I think when we can go into gratitude and forgiveness, again, it's not an overnight fix. There's no overnight fixes, they don't exist. But it can be a very significant opening for both our individual and our collective healing. Again, this long, deep breaths, continuing to breathe in that golden light, that radiance, that gratitude, that love for yourself and for all beings everywhere. Becoming Euryphaessa herself, feeling yourself as the Titan goddess of radiance, of Mother Sky, maybe feeling Euryphaessa or Mother Sky shining upon you, bestowing her radiance within your heart. And now, everybody, you can relax your breath, keeping your eyes closed. Just breathing normally for a few minutes, staying in this space that you've cultivated for yourself. Just breathing normally. And maybe there are some messages coming through for you now, or maybe you're just feeling really relaxed and at peace. Just breathing, just observing, allowing, receiving. As you lie in the space, breathing normally, read out a closing invocation, a blessing from Euryphaessa. Euryphaessa, wide shining one, mother of light, mother of rhythm, thank you for guiding us home to our radiant center. May the light we remembered today continue to unfold gently, the dawn after a long night. May we honor the cycles within us, the sun of our joy, the moon of our mystery, and the dawn of every new breath. We walk forward now, illuminated, not by force, but by remembrance, not by control, but by alignment. and not by effort, but by grace. And so it is. Now just sitting in silence a few moments longer. And now, beginning to return, wiggling your fingers and your toes, beginning to move your arms and your legs gently, gently. Maybe moving your head around a little bit, keeping your eyes closed. Now maybe taking your arms above your head, taking a big good morning stretch, stretching out the spine and back. Maybe you want to roll, bring your knees in to your chest and dip your legs to the left and to the right, a supine twist. Just slowly coming back into the body, into the present moment. And whenever you're ready, slowly opening your eyes, coming back to waking reality, feeling refreshed, feeling renewed.